Hi, I'm Anthony Poponi. I'm the founder of Focus on the 40 and put this video together to describe our program called the Ember Effect. It's a train the trainer program, really about boosting internal trust, performance, and engagement within workplaces. We've been doing this work for quite a while now, and here's what we've seen internally. First of all, there's a lot of retirement going on. This started with the Great Resignation, of course, a few years ago, but it's also turning into a lot of people still hitting these retirement age cohorts, and they're leaving the organization. That leads to a quickened promotional pace for new leaders, where they're coming into these leadership roles quicker than ever before. They don't have the seasoning that other seasoned professionals would have had coming into these roles, and so they just don't know as much just because they haven't been around as long. And there's always these regulatory changes and challenges, but it seems like they're coming faster and faster. Of course, AI is one of the big disruptors in the marketplace these days. But these regulatory changes can come from internal, they can also be external in the form of laws. And then smaller organizational charts are sort of the norm, but the work has kind of stayed the same. So how do you manage like these same expectations with a smaller team? And then morale issues pop up. And here it says at the first line level, but realistically, it's not just the first line level. It can be happening at the highest levels, and that trickles down. Or if it's at the lowest levels, these first line staff, they can trickle up too, and morale can kind of embed the organization or infiltrate the organization. Now, if you're an executive within your organization, some of the things that we've been cataloging, seeing that they're feeling, is that this eroding belief in executive compassion. Like, why are they making these decisions? Don't they know how hard this work is? And there's a desire for these executives to just honor the fact that this work will always be hard. But how do we do this with a positive culture, a positive mindset, with more trust and more belief in each other? And of course, they want to retain high performers. It's you have people that may not qualify for promotion yet, or promotional opportunities might not exist for them yet. But how do you retain them? What can you be doing to help them grow and see a path forward for themselves before they can get an actual official promotion into a new role? And then how do you retain frontline staff? Because it doesn't matter if you're hiring six new people if three of them walk right back out the door or leave for another organization. And if you're a frontline staff, here's what they're commonly seeing and feeling is that they're not sure why leadership is making decisions. What's the why behind this? Even organizations that do communication really well still don't always explain the why frequently enough or consistently enough. We call it cascading communication. And so these staff feel unseen and undervalued. And it's not just about the money. Now, some people will say that this is a generational thing. And it can be a generational thing, that there needs to be a mission, something bigger than just making widgets or doing the work that we do. It's about the people we do it with, but what are we giving back into the community? And then burnout is a word people throw around a lot. There is a good technical definition for it, but how do you maintain morale so that people don't feel burned out when they're being asked to serve other people? Because those things can break apart. So what we have and what we've developed is a champions model, and this is a train the trainer approach to doing this work, where people on your team become champions of these things. And when we talk about champions, it's these intentionally developed networks of individuals that we can call champions, or maybe you call them ambassadors or liaisons within your workplace. They influence others, they spread key ideas and initiatives for you. They embed their culture and practices more effectively than just top-down communication. So you're kind of building this from the bottom up and creating these champions to help support that. And if you need to think about like how do you find a champion, how would you identify a champion? It's about finding these people that would be internally really interested in promoting. You've seen that they're positive. You've seen that people like them, listen to them, that they are people that gravitate towards, and then you build them up. Now, they don't have to be a supervisor or a leader at this point within their team. The person on the bottom right here is somebody that might be a great champion. And you're still waiting to promote them over time. But in that time where you might be wanting to promote them, what can you do? Well, you can make them a champion, and they can advocate for you internally for your programs. And that can help you. And then eventually you can promote them. And when you promote them into a new team, then they become this leader of this cohort of people. And as this leader of a cohort of people, then they can light up that team. Okay. So the framework behind this is there's really three parts of how we do this with teams. The first one is we design. So we come in and we can do facilitator-led listening sessions. This is us doing the work and not your team doing the work. And then we use those listening sections to drive the curriculum design. And so we use that to kind of say, okay, Here's what we're hearing internally from your frontline staff, frontline supervisors. How do we take that and build programs around that? Then phase two is about the delivery. So once we understand what's going on internally with your team, we can use this train the trainer model to train people up as champions of these programs, and then they deliver the programs. But before they do that, we give them 2 days of professional development training on the curriculum and the materials so that they feel really comfortable and confident in delivering these programs. And then we offer monthly 1 hour programs through these champions over an 8 month period. And again, those programs are based on what we find out in the listening sessions with your team. So here's some sample programs that we might offer. Some programs on happiness is first, then trust, and then trust, looking at it from the individual standpoint, reconnecting to purpose and meaning, and then building rapport, workplace relationships with your team, and you're finding your inner hero. That's about understanding who you are and character strengths, and growing through changes and challenges, discovering leadership flame. Okay, all of these things are just sample programs that we could offer in months 1 through 4 and months 5 through 8. So there's different levels to this, and realistically, it's just impossible to kind of quote this as a price without really talking to you. How big is your team? How many people could you roll through this? All of those sort of things. And then there's all sorts of add-ons that we think that really benefit you if you can add on different, having sponsors for the program that are essentially people that get behind the program itself to help make sure that it has leadership support, obviously and directly and visibly for these programs. So that's the overview of the program. Again, it says the book of call for pricing. So if you'd like to chat more about it, we'd love to have that conversation with you and talk to you all about the Ember Effect. Have a great day.